Hello, beautiful people, fellow mates, my beautiful subscribers all over the world. So yeah, thank you for all my for your comments and your likes and your shares. I really appreciate it. So today we'll be making this palazzo trouser and this top that has this smoky effect on the waistline, and of course it has a collar. So if this is what you're interested in, and the top is just like a wrap top, so there's a little trick in this, but it came out well, it came out beautiful. The only difference is my sleeves, because I had to manage my sleeves, so I had to improvise when I did my sleeves. But if you want yours to be exactly as that on the model, please, you can go ahead and do it. It's the same process. So if you're interested in this tutorial, please kindly watch till the end. And of course, I'll be washing this clothes later because of all the chalk markings on it, and then before I give it to my customer. So without wasting time, let's get right into it. And lest I forget, this tutorial is going to be in two parts. So this is going to be the cotton part, and of course I'll be showing you the sewing process for part 2. So yes, I've already folded because I'll be cutting the trouser part first before cutting the upper part. So for the trouser, if you know how to cut a palazzo trouser or a normal pant trouser, this should be very easy. So I folded my fabric into two using the biggest part of my body measurement, which is my hip line, and then I added my thigh measurement, sorry. I divided my thigh measurement into two, and then I added 3 inches sewing allowance or 3 or 4, just to make have some spaces left. So now I placed my tape like so on the table, and I'll be making use of a 2 inches band. So that's why I placed my tape like so. So I'm marking out my shoulder, my waist to hip, and then of course my crotch depth, and then my waist to my knee. So those are the lines you can see from there. So now I'll be imputing my measurements. So in order for you to get your crotch depth, you can just divide your hip measurement by 4, and then you get it. But if you want more accurate, or you want to be more accurate there, you just sit on a flat surface chair, and then you take your crotch from your waist measurement down. So now I just marked my hip measurement, and I added 1 inch sewing allowance. So I'm extending that line to my waistline, as you can see. So I just marked that and then extended it as you see me do. Hope I'm not too fast. And so yes, on my hip line, that is what I was just trying to explain. I just tried to ascertain that it was the correct thing that I marked. So the next thing we are going to be doing now is to sorry, someone passed. So it's just to divide my hip measurement into 4. So whatever I have, when you divide your hip measurement into 4, and then you divide whatever you have into 2 again. So that whatever you have, you just mark it as your crotch extension, and that is what I'm marking right there. I got 2.2 3/4, yeah, almost 3 inches. So that is what I'm just carving out as my crotch cuff. And then I'll come into the waistline. For the waistline, I'll just divide my waist measurement by 4, and then I'll be marking that. I'm just trying to use my tape so that I would get the actual measurement. So that is what I'm marking right there. And then I'll be marking 1 inch for that, and then 1 inch sewing allowance. Sorry, the sticker blocked that, but I know you would see it. So I'll just connect from that my waist to my hip line. So this is very easy, and it's a very beautiful palazzo trouser that you would want it to be tight on your thigh, and then it will be free at the lower part. So this is the whole essence of that. So for that my crotch measurement, I'll be dividing that place into 2 so that I would have a balanced division for my thigh measurement. So that is the essence of me dividing that into 2. So I'll just get the midpoint of that. Actually, there's no need to get the midpoint for that today. It's just this place that is needed for. So the next thing I will be doing now is just to come down by, I just wanted the line to be even, to be straight, so that when I roll it up, everything will sit perfect. So I'll just come down from my the crotch curved part. I'll be coming down by 3, or you can go for 3.5 inches down from your crotch depth to get your thigh measurement, because that is where we'll be inputting our thigh or lap measurement if you want it to be a little bit tight or grip you on your hip, on your thigh rather. So I'll be rolling that out as a straight line. And then for the thigh measurement, whatever you have, so you extend this line down. You're going to be extending that line down so that you'll be able to divide your thigh measurement appropriately. It will be equal. So I was just trying to divide my thigh measurement into 2, and then I'll divide again. So whatever I have, I'll be placing half here and half there. You know, this trouser is going to be in 4 pieces. So that is what I'm trying to do. And whatever you have, please kindly mark 1 inch sewing allowance on both sides of it, or half an inch as your fabric would determine. So I'm just trying to extend that line, as you see, so that I'll be able to get there. I was getting the midpoint, so that's why I did it like that. So now I'm just going to be inputting my thigh measurements like so. So I added 1 inch sewing allowance, and this is what it gave me. So it took all the old fabric, so I'm just going to be marking that as you see me do. So please kindly take yours. So for that, I'll just connect from that. It will just be, there's no need to use my because it's just basically on that exact line. And for that crotch depth, I later just went straight up. For the crotch extension, I didn't slant it the way it came out. You would see it by the time I cut it out. So I just used that as a sewing allowance for the crotch curve, because I remembered I did not add that. It's not as if it's necessary, but sometimes it's better to be safe than sorry. So I'm just going to be taking that all the way down to the length of the trouser, because of course this is going to be a palazzo. If it were to be that I want a pencil trouser, I would have gone for my ankle measurement and all that, so that I'll give it shape. But because this is going to be a baggy, that is a palazzo trouser, just take everything all the way from that your thigh measurement down to the length of the trouser. So I'm just basically going to be cutting this out, and then we'll go over to cutting of the back. So I've already gone ahead to cut it off camera, and so I placed the front so that we'll cut the back. The only thing you need to make sure you have when you're folding for your back is that there should be at least 2 inches on the waist area, 2 inches on the hip side area, and 2 inches on the crotch area, because we're going to be making some little extensions or amendments there, so that it will make a difference between the front and the back. So right there on my waistline where the crotch curve is, I'm going to be coming in by 2 inches. If you've seen my videos on how to make a short or any of the trousers, this is exactly how I do it, and it always comes out very beautiful and having a very fitting effect. And for that 2 inches that I came in with, I'm going to be extending it up to this hip side. I'll be bringing it out from this side. So on my hip line, I'll mark 1.5 inches, and then on the length of the trouser, on the hip side area, I'm going to be marking 1 inch down. So I'm going to be connecting that. I don't know if you understand me, but please, if you don't understand me, you can just kindly go back and rewatch this video and you would understand. So I'm just trying to connect the new points. That is the extension I made for the back on the hip side area. Note, not on the crotch part area. We're just dealing with the hip part area now and putting in place all the allowances that we're supposed to add. So for a recap, what I did was that I came in by 2 inches from my crotch area, and then I extended the 2 inches I came in with on my hip line area. So that is like replacing the 2 inches that I removed from that place. And then I added sewing allowances on the side seams, and then I rolled it all the way down. Now if you want to have a zip allowance on your at the back and all whatnot, you can go ahead and add it to this at this point after the extension of the crotch, but I'm not going to be doing that. I'm just going to be placing my zipper by the side because that is what my client wants. So now I'm slanting that to meet the 2 inches that I extended with. And then for the crotch depth extension, I'm just going to be coming down by ½ inch first, and then I'll go out by 2 inches for my crotch extension. So just go up by 2 inches for my cross extension. We're basically almost through this back. So now I'm just going to be connecting that and then drawing out a curve to meet my crotch. Just try and curve it out like that. So you can see our crotch is longer, the back piece is longer than the front piece because of the bump at the back. And so for the side, I'm just going to be coming out, and then I'll just, from that 2 inches that I came out with for the crotch depth, I'm just going to be slanting that into the knee line, as you see me do. So basically we don't need sewing allowances for the other side. So you can see that this back is very easy. And for this tutorial, I'm not going to be putting any pocket by the sides, so because from the thumbnail there was no pocket on the trouser. So we're basically through, and I've cut it out. This is how it looks. So now we're just going to be keeping this aside, and then we'll head over to cutting of the upper parts. So if you've watched up to this level and you've not subscribed, please kindly subscribe, like, share, and please kindly give this video a thumbs up, and please kindly watch out for the sewing tutorial. That will be the part 2. So for now I just gave it a notch, just folded into 2, and got the for the dart I just slanted it into 2, and then I'm coming down by 4 inches for the dart. So just taking your dart ½ inch, and that is it. Some people say they don't like putting darts in the front, they would rather put it at the back, but I feel like a palazzo trouser without a dart is really not proper, except you are using a stretch fabric. You wouldn't need that because of course the fabric will make everything sit perfectly on your waistline. But if it's going to be any other material other than a stretch fabric, I would advise that you use a dart, because darts are meant to give fitting to the waist area. So you apply the same thing for the back piece. So that is what I was just basically doing. And when marking your dart, please always consider or put into consideration your 2 inches for band, because of course you know that you're going to be adding a band to that, and you don't want your dart running all the way down to your hip line by the time you add your band. So when drawing down the lines for the darts, please put into consideration that you're going to be adding a band to that. So we're basically through with these, and then I'll be setting this aside so that we'll go right over to cutting of the top. So yes, I have my fabric folded, and for this we're going to be cutting the back piece first before we go over to cutting of the front piece. As you saw in the thumbnail, the front piece is a little bit dicey, but it's like a wrap top. There's a way they did it. So, and please bear in mind, as the length of this top is going to be the total length you would want, with the smoky effect or the smoky part of the top included. So for this, I've already removed the smoky part because I wouldn't want it, because I'll be joining that separately to this top. So what I have here is the length I want before I will join my smoky parts. So now I'm going to be dividing my shoulder measurement into 2, just like the way we do our normal basic bodies, and then I'll add a fringe because of course this is going to be having a sleeve, and then I'll come down to the chest area, just mark out exactly the same thing, and I get my armhole. And you know, to get your armhole, you just divide your bust measurement by 6, and then you add 1.5 inches, so that should give you your armhole. And so for my neck width, I'll be making use of 4 inches for my neck width. And then I'll be slanting down my shoulder slopes. And then first for the back depth, I'll be making use of 1 inch or 1.5 as you wish. But between 1 and 1.5 is perfect, because remember this is going to be having a collar. So we don't want something too wide so that it would not affect the neckline. So I'm connecting that, as you see. And then of course on the chest line I'll be dividing my bust measurement by 4, and then I'll be adding 1 inch for ease, and then of course 1 inch for sewing allowance. So that is all. To make it free is entirely optional, but from the thumbnail you can see that that style is not something tight. It's a free style. It's not tight. It's not meant to be tight. It's supposed to be free, not too free, but at least something loose, so that it will be easy for you to wear. So now I've cut out my armhole after having gotten my bust measurement, and so I'll go over to take my waist measurement. And of course this is not going to be having any dart because it's going to be like a wrap top, so you don't really need any dart for this. So I'll just divide my waist measurement by 4, and then I'll mark it out, then add the same allowances that I added for my bust area down to my waist area. So divide whatever your waist measurement is. You add 1 inch for the ease, and then 1 inch for sewing allowance. And so I'll be connecting from my bust to my waist. And so we're basically through with the back, and then I'll be cutting this out. So on the shoulder part, please ensure or remember that you need to add a fringe to join that. So that is what I just remembered, and then I had to add that to it. So just remember to add a fringe to join your shoulders. And so I'm carving out the armhole as you see me do. And so we have the back piece. Now we're going over to the front piece. So for the front piece, I just came here, and so I just left my fabric open, because as at this point I was trying to manage the fabric, because and of course I made use of 3 yards of fabric, and this also 60 by length, so I wouldn't know why the thing was just somehow. So yeah, anyways, for the front I'll be cutting one side first, and then I'll be using the other side to cut out the other side of the front, if you understand what I mean. So right from the folded part, as you see, I'm going to be marking 4 inches. You can mark between 4 or 5 inches, and then I'm trying to indicate the neck width right there. So I'll just be cutting this out exactly as you see me, the same armhole, the same side shapes. I'm going to the shoulder now, and then I'll be stopping where the neck width is, and then I'll just lift this a little bit over like so that I will get the depth that I would want for this tutorial. So well, this is really not very necessary, but I just want us, our beginners especially, to understand what we are driving at. So I'll just connect from here straight to the neck width. You can see the way I'm doing it, straight to the neck width. So now I can remove this back piece and then I'll cut it out like so. And so yes, we have one side of the front piece, so I'm just going to be placing this. I'll be turning it like that to cut out the second piece. But if you, it depends on how you cut it out anyways. So the only basic thing there is that you should face the right sides of the fabric facing each other, so that you'll be able to get the other side of it. So I'm placing it like right sides facing each other, because if you place left and right or whatever, you're going to be getting the same exact thing for the other side. So please always be very careful when you're trying to make use of this method, because it can be quite dicey. So the only thing there is that make sure that front is facing front and back is facing back when cutting. So I'm just cutting it out as you see me do. It's pretty much easy, so just cut it out like so. So now we have our two pieces for the front. So you can see that we already have that shape that you saw on the thumbnail. So for this, I wanted to use a bias to turn it and all, but I felt like my fabric was transparent. So I decided to use a lining, a cotton lining for the front piece, but for the front pieces, I didn't use the lining for the back. So it was only used for the front pieces. So thank you all for watching, and kindly watch out for the sewing tutorial that will be coming up few days after I posted this. So kindly watch it out. Thank you all, and God bless you. So this is Genius Signatures, and of course Genius Signatures, I'll be signing out and see you on my next tutorial. Thank you all, and God bless you. Plenty, 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 plenty. So catch you. Bye.